My family, they just let my ex-wife control all the family money. They cut me out of my inheritance, completely shut me out. And then they had the nerve to call me difficult. So I froze all their accounts. Yeah, I did. It was the only thing I could think of. After the divorce, it wasn't just that they sided with her, they practically replaced me with her. They invited her to Thanksgiving dinner and told me I could come, but only if I kept my mouth shut and didn't cause a scene. I told them, don't worry, I'd rather eat with complete strangers than sit at a table with people who do that to me. 5 days later, boom, everything exploded. My cousin called me, crying her eyes out. Everything's falling apart, she sobbed. Please help us. So here's the whole messy story because I'm still so angry about it all, and I need to know if I'm losing my mind or if this is actually insane. If family drama isn't your thing, feel free to skip this. But if you've ever felt like your own family was totally ignoring you, you'll get this. I'm not even using a fake name. I don't care if anyone sees this. I'm done playing nice. The divorce was about a year and a half ago. It was awful, but honestly not a total surprise. Robert and I were together for almost 6 years. I'm not saying it was all his fault, okay? I can be, let's just say, very direct. I'm not exactly Miss, let's have a 3-hour heart-to-heart kind of person. And yeah, maybe I can be a little too sarcastic sometimes. Robert's problem was that she always needed to be liked, always contorting herself to be the agreeable one. Marriage, as it turned out, wasn't the best fit for her. Whatever. But here's where things got bizarre. Most people, when they split up, it sucks, but they still remember who their actual family is. Not my folks. My mom, Faith, and cousin Tucker especially, they just swallowed Robert up like she was one of their own. Lorraine is also my aunt, and I don't mean in some polite way, you know? We don't have any kids. I mean, she's actually acting like she's still part of the family. And me? I'm chopped liver. It's crazy. The first odd thing I noticed was the group chat. It used to be just me, my mom, Tucker, Lorraine, and my sister, Tammy. Then Robert shows up out of nowhere. They're all sending pictures from some pottery class, and I see Robert's mug before anyone else's. No one even thought to ask if I wanted to join. Then it's, hey, we're going to the pumpkin patch. And I see my own cousin post a selfie with Robert tagged in it, and they're all saying stuff like, she's the fun aunt now? My phone lights up, but it's just me reading their texts. No one's actually talking to me. At first, I figured, whatever, maybe they're just being polite. Maybe it's awkward for them, too. But honestly, I started muting the chat because it was making me so angry to see them all acting like everything was normal with her. About 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, my mom calls me up, and she's got this super serious voice, like someone just kicked the bucket. I'm like, what's going on? And she starts in on how money's been tight and she doesn't want any drama on Thanksgiving. She basically tells me I can come, but only if I keep my trap shut and don't cause a scene. I'm thinking, what the heck? I haven't seen these people since July. What scenes? So I ask her, why would I be the one causing trouble? She says something like, well, you know how you get. You always have to argue and Robert just wants peace. I actually laughed. So Robert's coming then? I ask, and she goes, of course. She's family and she's been such a huge support to us all. When I ask her how exactly Robert's been so supportive, she gets all defensive and starts rambling about how Robert helps her around the house and listens to her complain about me not calling enough. She actually says, Robert's unlike you. At that point, I'm done. I tell her I'd rather eat Thanksgiving dinner with a bunch of random people than sit there with those traitors. She hangs up on me just like that. Click. Which honestly isn't anything new. She's been slamming the phone down on me since I was a kid. Whenever she doesn't want to deal with something, that's her go-to move. So I text Tucker afterward like, are you kidding me with this? And he just replies, don't make it about you. Robert's been through a lot. I'm like, what did I miss? Did I die and no one bothered to tell me? I finally tried to get some real answers, so I called my sister, Tammy. She's really the only one who actually sees me, but honestly, she's so over it that she mostly just stays out of it. She sighs and says, look, Robert's just easy, you know. She's always there. She bakes and pitches in, and everyone feels all warm and fuzzy around her. Then she adds, you know how Mom is. You two just always butt heads. She likes people who tell her she's right. Robert does that. You never did. I asked Tammy if she thought I should just give in, and she sighs, I don't know, maybe just skip it. Let them have their peace. She just sounded so tired. Thanks, sis, I said, so I just spent the next few days sort of fading away. My phone kept blowing up with the group chat. Robert was baking pies. Robert was helping Lorraine with her garden. Robert was even showing Mom how to use her new phone. I'm not even mad at Robert. She's just doing what she always does. She gets everyone on her side by being helpful and sweet, and everybody dumps their problems on her. But what about my family? That's a whole other thing. I think people like her because she's just easier. She never calls anyone out. She never fights back. She'll literally listen to Tucker rant for 2 hours about how his ex stole his air fryer and then make him banana bread afterward. Meanwhile, I call Mom out when she says something out of line. I tell Tucker to stop being such a baby. I don't act like everything's okay when it's not. Look, I'm a tough person, I'll admit it, but at least I'm honest. Thanksgiving came around, and there I was in my apartment scrolling through my phone. Then Lorraine hits me up with a Snapchat. The whole Thanksgiving table was set all fancy. Robert's right in the middle holding my mom's hand, big smiles all around, and my seat completely empty. It wasn't even trying to be subtle. It hit me then, I'm not family anymore. And you know what? That's fine. If they want Robert over me, that's their call, but I'm not gonna just take it lying down. I'm not gonna let them pretend I don't exist or act like I'm the bad guy in my own life. So I started this list on my phone's notes. Every single time Robert does something for my family, stuff I used to do for them, stuff I worked for. Every time Mom lets her do something that should only be family business. I don't know what I'll do with it yet, but just keeping track feels good, powerful even. I'm not letting them just erase me. No way am I gonna be the guy stuck at home on holidays while my ex takes my spot. They can have her at their table if they want, but they don't get both of us. That's where I'm at. I don't know what I'll do next, but being Mr. Nice Guy is over. Seriously, hit me with any ideas you've got because I'm not watching my family get manipulated like this. Not again. What comes next is probably gonna be ugly, but honestly, I'm ready for it. After that Thanksgiving mess, I started seeing things I'd been blind to before, stuff that didn't even click until I was just scrolling through my phone one day. I'd basically been cut off from my family, and Robert, he gets the golden ticket. I'm not just talking holidays, I mean everything. It's like, once you're on the outside looking in, you see all these little ways you're being erased. For months, Tucker would text me about random family stuff, little things. But then I'd see in his stories that Robert was right there, hanging out at Mom's, bringing over food like he's the host, not a guest. She even has her own coffee mug at my mom's now. That's brand new. She never touched coffee when we were together. Then my cousin posts a video of Robert showing Lorraine how to set up a TV like she lives there. My aunt has her on speed dial. It's always, Robert's so helpful. Robert's got the best ideas. Robert this, Robert that. Like I never even existed. I asked Tucker what the deal was, and he just brushes it off like, it's no big deal, man. Robert's just good with tech, you know. Mom's clueless with remotes. Yeah, okay, whatever. But she never called me for help after the divorce. Guess I'm not useful anymore. And then there's the cabin. Grandma left that place upstate to her family, right? It's not just mine. It's split between me, Tucker, and Tammy. For ages, I handled every single bill and kept the place up. It's not like anyone ever even said thanks. So I finally checked the cabin's group chat, hadn't looked at it in a while, and it's all Robert. Robert's planning a whole summer shindig. Robert's got quotes for repairs. Robert's blabbing about making it all fancy and welcoming. I scrolled back and get this, my name? Not even mentioned once in the whole discussion about who gets to use the place. In July, I practically own half of it, and nobody even bothered to ask me what I thought. I texted Tucker like, dude, what's the deal with the cabin? He just blew me off, saying Robert was helping out. Apparently, everyone loves Robert's ideas, and I'm always too busy. I mentioned it to Tammy, and she just went, yeah. I tried to say, hey, you should include my name, but Mom and Lorraine were all, it's just easier with Robert. Tammy went on and on, you know how it is. Mom said I'm too hard to get a hold of. Robert just takes care of things. I told her, look, the deed's got my name on it, plain as day. Tammy just sighed and said, I know, but I'm so sick of fighting about it. She wasn't even on my side. She just didn't want to deal with it. I tried asking around, but nobody gave me a straight answer. Lorraine just says Robert's been a godsend, that I should be thankful she's keeping the family together. My mom's like, if you'd just be around more, things would be different. I pointed out that she invited my ex to Thanksgiving and told me to keep my mouth shut. She just switched gears and said I always make everything about me. It's insane. I get why they like Robert. Mom never tells her no. Robert's always baking, bringing little gifts, and putting on that whole let me help you show. She pulled the same thing with my friends. She was everyone's favorite person to invite, and my family. I just figured they'd, remember me, but nope. They'd rather have easy than real. Then I found something out that really got under my skin. See, my mom was always asking for help with her bills, like online stuff and setting up automatic payments after the divorce. I helped her for a while, and then she tells me, oh, Robert's taking care of that now. My brother Tucker told me Robert has complete access to Mom's bank accounts, even handles her passwords, stuff I used to do. I asked my mom, are you kidding? You're letting my ex manage your money? And she just says, Robert's trustworthy. You're just always so negative. She helps me feel like I'm in charge of things. I told her it was a terrible idea. She snapped back, "If you're so worried, you can come over and help, but only if you can be nice for once." I told her I wasn't playing those games, so I started keeping track of everything, literally and figuratively. I've got screenshots, notes, the whole 9 yards. Every phone call Robert makes about the cabin, every time Mom talks about Robert helping the family, every time they make plans without me even knowing. Honestly, I'm not even mad at Robert for it. I'm really ticked off at my family for letting this go down. I'm no saint, I know that, but I never thought they'd just ditch me so they could have someone who just agrees with everything. Then I got a direct message from Lorraine asking if I could sign some cabin papers. And I'm thinking, what paperwork? She sends me this thing that says, Robert is helping everyone set up new auto-pay for the utilities and we need your info. Since when does Robert handle the bills? Lorraine gets all huffy and says she's the only one who actually stays on top of things. You're always late. You don't answer. You're too busy. I tell her I pay my share every year. Nobody ever said anything about being late. She just fires back, well, Robert will just take care of it now. Just sign. I tell her I'm not signing anything until I see it, and she loses it, says I'm starting drama, and basically hangs up on me. When I go to her house to talk about it, Tucker texts me later and says, just sign it. Stop making things so difficult. So it feels like everywhere I turn, Robert's doing stuff I used to do. She's in every group chat, family get-together, and those dumb holiday emails. I'm not. I even asked my mom if I could swing by to talk about the cabin thing. She adds, only if you're not going to argue. Robert's coming over to help me with my taxes anyway. I just hung up. That was it. I'm done with this. Honestly, I think they treat me like this because I won't just go along with whatever they want. Before I even met Robert, I was always the kind of guy who just says it like it is. I call out the crap when I see it. Robert, on the other hand, is the kind of person who smiles, agrees with everything, and even brings you cookies while you're complaining about someone else doing the work. So my family gets what they want. Someone who's never going to cause a fuss or make things awkward. I guess that's what's important to them. Just a drama-free life, even if it means acting like I don't exist. So I'm sitting there watching everything play out, and I get it, if I don't do something, I'm going to be completely pushed out. Not just emotionally, but financially too, like the cabin, the family, money, everything. They're just going to let Robert take over. No way. The next time they want me to sign something, I'm bringing everything I've got. I'm not signing anything. I'm not giving in. I won't let them rewrite history to make Robert the hero and me the angry guy who disappeared. I'm done keeping quiet. If they want to fight, they'll get one. So get ready, because I'm about to make it impossible to ignore me. If my family wants Robert, they can have her. But they are not getting what's mine. Absolutely not. Ready for round 3? Update 1. You ever get that feeling that people are talking about you behind your back, but you can't prove it? I'm not talking about being paranoid, just these weird vibes. It's like your family 1 minute, and then suddenly you're just the odd one out, the ex-brother nobody bothers texting unless they want something. I started to pick up on what wasn't being shared, as much as what was. Tucker sent me a meme about being the forgotten son, but he's in every single group photo with Robert, and I'm nowhere to be seen. Then I saw Lorraine's Facebook post, gushing about new traditions and Robert's holding a pie. And guess what? It's Grandma's recipe, the one she swore she'd never give out. Seriously, how messed up is that? So I figured I was done waiting for them to get their act together, so I decided to take action. Not literally marching to the front door, but setting up a family meeting. I texted everyone in the old group chat, the one Robert wasn't even in, and said, "We need to talk about the cabin, the money, the whole mess." Tammy replied, "I'll go if this isn't just another fight." Tucker chimed in with, "Not my problem." But I said, "Yes, it is. You just don't want to get your hands dirty." Lorraine tried to put it off, saying, "Robert can handle it." I shot back with, "No way, this is for the people who actually own things." She just read the message and didn't respond. I typed back, "I'm bringing all the paperwork. I want to see receipts. I want to know everyone's plans for the cabin and the accounts." Tammy showed up, clearly in a bad mood. Tucker was late, naturally. Lorraine was acting like she was at the dentist. I had everything printed out, all the folders piled up. I wasn't messing around. I started laying down the facts. I told them, "Listen, Robert doesn't own the cabin. She gets no say in this. So she's not allowed to touch the money, right?" I showed them all the texts where she was planning stuff behind my back, the emails she sent to the power company, and the screenshots of her telling everyone I didn't care about the family. I showed them every single payment I made, and every time they just shut me out of decisions. I told them straight up, "If you want to change things, you need my okay, and I ain't signing anything until you start treating me with some respect." Lorraine just screamed, "You're overreacting. Robert's just helping because you're never around." I told her, "I'm not around because you treat me like I'm some kind of problem, not a person." Then Tucker chimes in, nobody wants a fight, but Robert makes things easier. Easier for who? I asked. Easier for the people who pretend I don't even exist. For once, Tammy actually agreed with me. She said, yeah, this is getting crazy. Why's Robert running everything? Lorraine says, because he cares, you're just making things hard. Then we were all yelling at each other. Nobody was giving an inch. Tammy slammed her fist on the table and shouted, this is our family, not Robert's. This has gone too far. Lorraine jumped up, shoved her chair back, said she wasn't dealing with it anymore, and slammed the door. Tucker tried to bolt. I stopped him, saying, you're not leaving. He pushed me and yelled, don't touch me, I'm not your problem solver. I told him, if you want to be an adult, then act like one. Things got really ugly really fast. I wasn't holding back at that point. I said, if you keep letting Robert handle all the money, I'm gonna have to freeze the accounts until we sort this out. I'm a co-owner of this cabin, I have legal rights, and if you think I'm kidding, go ahead and try me. Tucker just laughed like, you wouldn't do that to us. And I said, you already did it to me, so what's the difference, right? Then Tammy pulls out her phone and goes into the group chat with Robert. All these messages like, Crew's too mad, let's just do stuff without him. This whole thing was news to me. She replies, I didn't want to get in the middle of it, but this is out of control. I glared at Tucker. He just kind of shrugged and said, it's just easier this way, Crew. I shot back, easier for you, not for me. So now we're all just yelling. Then Lorraine comes back in and says, if you want to get difficult, I'll call Grandma's lawyer and see how you like it. I told her, go for it, I'll send them everything I got. Tammy asks, can we just set some rules? Can we just agree? Robert doesn't get a vote. Tucker looks at me and says, all right, what do you want? And I said, I want you to stop acting like I'm dead and she's your new buddy. It's super awkward. Nobody's crying, but it's obvious everyone's upset for different reasons. Tammy just wants peace. Tucker just wants out. Lorraine wants Robert to be in charge. I just want my life back. I said, look, bottom line, if Robert touches another account or signs my name or even tries to make decisions with my stuff, I'm taking it all to a lawyer. You want to fight? I'm done being nice. Fine, Tucker said, all stiff and official. Then we'll do this the right way. Tammy just blew up. I'm so done with all of you, she yelled, slamming the door behind her. Lorraine sat there, not even making eye contact. I told them, you know he did this. You chose her over me, now you deal with it. I stood up, ready to go. Tucker tried to stop me, but I shoved past him, grabbed my files, and walked out. When I got home, I was furious, but also oddly calm. I knew exactly what to do next. I wasn't joking around. They love their little money and property games. Well, I'm about to show them what happens when someone actually reads the small print. Seriously, it's wild how fast people change when you're no longer useful to them. They want Robert? Fine, let them have her. But they aren't touching what's mine, not now, not ever. I'll let you know when I pull the trigger on this. So after that whole family blow-up, I waited 5 days. I figured someone would text, try to make things better, or pull the usual guilt trip. Nope, nothing. It was just the same group chats, and I was completely left out. Robert's name was everywhere. They weren't even tagging me anymore. I think they figured I'd just give up and disappear so they could keep playing house with my ex running the show. Yeah, no, that wasn't happening. I started with the cabin. I dug out all the paperwork, the deed, the bills, even that co-owner agreement Grandma drew up years ago. I went over every single payment, every signature, every email about those repairs again and again. Tucker couldn't argue with how organized I'd been. They just didn't get it. You can't just kick a co-owner out and think they'll shut up. So I called the management company and told them, no more changes, period. No repairs, no bookings, nothing happens without my okay. Get that in writing to everyone involved. I emailed the whole family, slapped that legal notice right in there. No warnings, no please. Just if you want to use the cabin, you talk to me. Robert's name isn't on the deed, so she doesn't get a vote. And yeah, I'm done helping with the bills. All payments go through my account now, that's the only way. Then I tackled the family finances. I hit the bank and got my name off everything Robert had his grubby fingers on. I explained the whole mess to the bank manager and asked them to block any third-party access. They needed it in writing, so I dropped off the paperwork. Later that day, Mom texted, freaking out because her online banking wasn't working like Robert had set it up. I told her, for once, talk to your own son, not your ex-daughter-in-law. She hung up on me. I texted Tammy, explained the whole situation, and told her if she wants her share of the cabin, she needs to talk to me directly. No Lorraine, no Robert, just me. So she just said, yeah, I get it. I'm sick of this whole thing too. Tucker called, trying to argue, but I told him straight up. I'm punishing everyone for not picking a side. You already chose, I'm just making sure you can't pretend I don't exist when it comes to the money and the house. Lorraine went ballistic on the phone, screaming about how I could do this to my family. She tried that guilt trip about Grandma's wishes, but I wasn't budging. She called me vindictive, but I was like, Nah, I'm just making sure everything's legal. Click, she hung up. Later, I got a text from her something about how some people never grow up. I had to laugh. Robert called first time in ages. I let it go to voicemail. Then came a text. Can we talk? This is hurting everyone. Nope. Another email followed. I'm just trying to help. Why are you making this so hard? Blocked. Things went south fast. Within 2 days, Tucker was texting, first mad, then begging. He went on and on. The cabin trip's ruined. Mom's freaking out. Lorraine's blaming everyone. Robert's crying. Nobody knows what to do. Then he texted, please just fix it. Everything's falling apart. I told him, I warned you. You made your bed, now lie in it. I'm not your savior. I'm just making sure nobody writes me out of my own life. Then Tammy called. Did you really freeze the accounts? She asked. Yep, I said. She said, honestly, I'm relieved. This whole thing's been a mess for months. Look, they just let Robert do whatever he wants because nobody wants to put up with Mom and Lorraine. I told her, look, if she wants to do this right, she should talk to me. We'll figure it out so random people aren't in charge of our stuff. She agreed. That's really all I wanted. The following weekend, I went for a jog near my mom's place. Her car was there. Roberts weren't around. Lorraine's car was gone, too. I didn't go inside. I just kept running. Sometimes you gotta let people sort out the mess they made. I'm not fixing it for them. I know what you're thinking. Geez, that's cold. But it's the truth. If you let people treat you like you're nothing, they'll just keep doing it. My family wanted the easy way. They're in for a tough time now. Robert wanted to be a substitute. Well, he's benched. I didn't break any rules. I didn't shout or threaten anyone. I just used the info and the rights that were already mine. Want to pretend I don't exist? Okay, but you aren't getting my stuff or my silence. So yeah, I guess I burned the bridge. But honestly, it was already burning. I just made sure no one could cross it without asking first. No clue what the next holiday will be like. Honestly, I don't care. I got my life back and I'm not sharing it with people who betrayed me. If you're in the same boat, don't just sit there and take it. Show everyone where the line is, and don't be scared to make it permanent. That's it for me. I'm sharing this, hoping it helps someone out there. Maybe it's just realizing you don't have to let family treat you badly. Sometimes you gotta look like the bad guy to someone else, so you can finally be the good guy for yourself.